Hi everyone! So a while ago I made a video where I talked about the possibility of a experience boost inside Sulgrub, and as I'm sure you know, you can enter Sulgrub as low as level 50, and as I'm sure you also know, there is a mage solo farm where you kill the tigers and the crocolisks inside Sulgrub. And so I just put one on one together and thought, why not make a experience boost out of this? Now there are two big challenges with making an experience boost that I think most people have run into, and which I also think is a reason why we aren't really seeing a whole bunch of Sulgrub experience boosts as of yet, at least. The first problem is, where do you put the ones you're going to boost? Where do you have them stand? And since you're killing the mobs quite far away, it's going to be a bit tricky figuring out a good spot, because ironically, or funny enough, if you place them about here, and this is a good spot because this is line of sight material, they can't see through you, they can't target you. There's gonna be like a, the circle within which they still receive experience is gonna cut right through that stone thing, and you're gonna be killing them on that stone thing and behind them. And if you kill your mobs behind it, then your friends won't get experience. So you really only need like another 5 yards, really, ideally much more than 5 yards, but you really just need to get a few yards closer, but you can't really stand there because of that. So if you would have your level 50 friend stand here, he would definitely pull aggro on those, which is a problem. So then the question is, where do you place them? And some people have proposed a solution which just includes, them popping an invisibility potion, but that is boring. I think that is not the best solution, especially since it requires a potion for it. I think a better solution is to have your friend place himself over there. And then the question is, how do you get your friend over here? And of course, a invisibility potion is a solution, but I also think that a solution could be to do something like this. Have your friends stand behind this bamboo object, and then pull this axe thrower with I'm gonna use a firebolt because you don't want it slowed. And then you run towards the entrance. Avoid pulling them if you can, because that's just extra damage that you can't really take. And about now, your friend runs out from hiding and goes towards that little island. And you just run out and reset the mobs. And this is very likely going to work. I haven't tested it yet, but I'm gonna make a second video where I propose my solutions to the two big problems with the Sulgrub experience farm. And in that video I will have a way to get to that island, or a way to get to another spots that's sufficiently close. Either way, that was the first problem. We're now gonna show you how to actually kill the mobs on that bridge. And then after that, I'm going to discuss the second problem, which is how to pull, or basically how to kill as many mobs as possible during the shortest time frame. Okay, so in this video, on this footage, we're quickly gonna look on how to kill things. The first thing you should probably know is that vertical distance pretty much doesn't exist in classic WoW when it comes to whether mobs believe they can hit you or not. So those crocolisks not only believe, but can hit me from below when I'm standing on the ledge. However, when I'm standing here, they believe that they can't reach me up here. It's got something to do with how the bridge is textured and I don't know, programming stuff. What this allows you to do is to jump up and down on this line here and just kite them back and forth. And the way you want to do this is to first slow them and then, gather them up as much as you can. When you jump, make sure to have roughly 45-degree angle, to the bridge. And so you want to gather them up and place your blizzard roughly, by the ledge over there, because they're gonna walk in a big U-turn, and you don't want to do it when they're on their way back. You maybe want to do, but it's kind of tricky. So when they're running towards you, you slow them down, and then you do one blizzard here, and then you do one blizzard when you are roughly there, and then they're gonna walk around and you're gonna just get the full blizzard. Now, if you remember, the line or circle cuts right through there or something. So if I would kill them now, my friend would get experience, but if I would kill them when they were over there, there would be no experience whatsoever. And this is one of the challenges that I talked about earlier, which is basically where do you place your friends. And also, because you have a place to just jog on the back and forth, you can really take as many, infinitely many mobs in a single pull, which is what you want to try and do. Because that will give you the highest, killed mobs per time unit ratio as possible, which is basically the same as how much experience your friends will get. We're just gonna fast forward to show you the end of this pack, which comes about somewhere around here. I think you got it. And now we're gonna look at and go into the second big problem with Sulgurub boosting. And about there the final one died. And I think in this pack I killed, just a second, I actually wrote it down somewhere. This pack was 14 elites, and we need to remember that. And it took me roughly, let's say just 3 minutes. It's actually 3 minutes and 6 seconds, but... Okay, so now we're gonna be looking at the second big problem, which is how are we supposed to pull as many packs as possible in the shortest time units? And this is the other big problem, because unless you find a good solution to this, it's not gonna be worth it experience-wise. Another important thing which might become very important later on is that when it comes to these three sides, I think it's the northern, eastern and southern, any mob that is on the platform can't reach you while you're down on the grass, and any mob that's on the grass can't reach you while you're up on the platform, which can be very helpful. What I'm doing right here is just testing whether this pole is see-through or not. So I'm gonna pull a berserker, kinda by mistake, and just jump down, and as you can see, they will reset. Now to get back up, what you wanna do is press space, just tab it, and slightly nudge forward when you're at the peak of your jump, and then, don't touch anything, and you're gonna get stuck in air, and then you press spacebar again, jump up, and keep going. Now, like I said, I'm going to have a good proposal, hopefully, on how to pull as many mobs as possible in the shortest time frame in the second video to come. Right now, I'm just looking around, really, and what I end up doing is blinking over here to that, whatever is called, his point, and I'm gonna pull all the tigers by slightly like nudging that one and nudging that one, and that will pull all the elites and they will pull the non-elites in turn. And then what I'm gonna do, we can actually, here we go. So I slightly nudge him or her or whatever, and that's a bunch of tigers. And you want to avoid, because you could get dazed here and that would obviously kill you. You could also use ice shield or ice armor, because that would slow your attackers. However, later on you want to have arcane mage armor. So what you want to do now is, if you would have had 100% mount, maybe you could have ran down there and gotten them as well. But it's sufficient to just jump, dismount and activate slow fall. That will pull them, because you're close enough, in the air. It might be that you want to kinda go to the side of them, because they might be able to hit you while you're in the air, as some of them do. Now there's only one pack here, and what I do is blink, Frost Nova. You might want to have ice armor up as well, and just slow them with a cone of cold. This pack here I took in the first pull, and the first pull was that pack, slow fall down here with mounts, Blizzard pulled that pack, run and pulled the pack over, well, the pack over there, and then I killed those. And in this second pack, there's gonna be 2 packs of Crocolisks and all the tigers. Just make my way to the bridge, kill them as usual. And everything just worked out really smooth here. I managed to use max rank on max rank Blizzard most of this time. In total, there were 17 elites in this pack and maybe 8 non-elites, and the way it usually works is that non-elites give half experience compared to an elite. So I'm just gonna assume that they do give half experience, and that will give me a total experience value from the first and this pack of actually 35 mobs, and for a level 52, 53, it seemed that they were getting 600 experience per mob, so that's gonna be 600 times 35, 21,000 in roughly 12 minutes, maybe 13 minutes. I'm just gonna assume that it's gonna be roughly 12 minutes, because I had to Like, this was the first time I ever did this pull, and the second time I know what to do, and it's obviously gonna be faster. So let's assume 5 pulls per hour, 5 rounds per hour, and that's 105,000 experience per hour for a level 52. However, that is only for one level 52. What's gonna happen when there are 4 level 52s as well? And let's assume that maybe it's... let's assume that you get 350 experience per mob when there are 4 level 52s instead of 600. You know, that's almost half, and I think that's a pretty good estimate. Maybe it's a little bit too harsh, but anyway, that's gonna be 350 times 35 times 5, which will give us roughly 61k. Which isn't too bad at level 52 actually. It's more than you're gonna get when questing, but it's not great. You're gonna get more from the Strathon boost. However, Strathon boosts are very expensive. And what if we could just maybe pull 1 pack more? That would give us another, let's say it's an average of 5 Crocolisks, and we do 5 pulls per hour, and it's 350. That would bring us up closer to 70k, and that would be good enough basically. And also note that these are 60 elites, so you're gonna peak your experience gains when you are level 58. So it's just gonna keep increasing quite a lot, I think, actually, up until 58, where it's gonna start evening out. If you remember, maybe when you're doing the boosts in Scarlet Monastery, especially Cathedral, like, you could almost get twice as much experience from a run when you were an appropriate level than you were maybe when you were 8 levels below. You know, like, compare the experience you get from a single mob when you're level 27 to when you're level 35. It's a huge difference. So I actually think that these are okay values, but they're not great, and obviously we're gonna have to work on increasing them. I'm actually gonna show you my gear also that I have while doing this, because it's not great at all, to be honest. These 2 are from Princess. You can solo her as a mage. The auction house, the auction house, the auction house. I'm gonna have 3 necropile pieces. That is from Scholomance, of course. They're good, but absolutely not great. Also from the auction house. You don't really need that much stamina while doing this, but you do need intellect, and spirit is helpful. That wand is, to be honest, pretty bad for this. The damage is good, the intellect is useful, the spell power is pretty much worthless, so just an auctioneer auction wand would be just as good. Trinkets are really crap. MP5 can do something, but it's really not the best. Rings are just auction house rings. 2 pieces of necropile. Make sure to have minor speed increase. Always have that when you're doing these boosts. These 2 are... The gloves are actually pretty bad, because Blizzard can't crit, so I should, to be honest, just replace them. The belt is okay due to high intellect, but yet again, the crit is really not good enough. And I actually think that, yeah, those gloves would literally be better for this than the epic gloves. As for the belts, and as for hit chance overall, I think 6% is actually enough. So it's enough to have elemental precision, you don't need any bloodvine pieces. It's just a standard Blizzard spec build. Make sure to have arcane concentration as well. Okay, but anyway, this was just a rough overview of the Sulgurub farm and the 2 big issues that needs to be solved. I'm gonna keep testing things out and come up with good strategies for, or at least my proposal to a good strategy for both where to place your friends and how to increase the experience per hour as much as possible. I'm gonna keep testing and eventually, hopefully very soon, release a second video talking about the Sulgurub experience farm. As of now, I haven't seen almost anyone doing these and no one selling them, and I think the big reason is that there are some problems, the ones that I just addressed. I haven't seen too much on YouTube about this, but I also purposely avoid watching any YouTube content, any classic content on YouTube, but that's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, like I said, make sure to subscribe not to miss the other video. Like if you enjoyed this one and found it helpful or interesting, and I will see you in the next video. See ya!